Hello friends, welcome to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about the democracy, republic and communism. First of all, we try to know what is the democracy. We try to elaborate about the democracy feature. As we know, democracy is the for the people, of the people, by the people. That definition given by the Abraham Lincoln. But we have to know what is the real importance about the democracy and how democracy works and for whom it is working and how what are the way to working and what are the key feature. First of all, democracy is the we can say power of public. We can say it is the power of citizen. Democracy generated by the power of the citizen, and after that democracy is working for the citizen, and democracy working for the, we can say, citizenship, behavior of the citizen. Under of the democracy we have the state power also. State power means the state legislative, also state. And what are the significant of the state? We have the some criteria, and we have the some notified area, and we have the sovereignty, we have the population, and decision making ability, and specify area, and also elected governing body or government. So first we try to know the we can say main feature of the state. State have its own population, its own area, and its own sovereignty, and its own, we can say, region, also its own government system. Just try to think about deep about these feature. Why these feature is the, we can say, correlated to each other also, and why this feature is the key importance of the state. Because state have on legislative bodies, which is we can say significant of the democracy. But how state will use and exercise on power, on legislative power, that is come to, we can say, sovereignty. That is called to sovereignty. Sovereignty means state will not take any decision to external and internal pressure. State will not take any decision behalf of the external and internal decision. State is free to take any decision freely. I mean to say that state has barrier-less decision-making ability. That is called to sovereignty. Suppose that a family have the some person, those are the decision maker, and they are free from take any decision behalf of the state welfareness, behalf of the family welfareness. As that state has take any decision behalf of the state welfareness, that is called to sovereignty. But in our parliament, it's have on sovereignty. State legislative assembly, it's has on sovereignty. Sovereignty means state legislative body will work through the work will, we can say, work without any barrier, and work for the welfare of the citizen, and it is not take any decision under of any pressure. That is called to, we can say, sovereignty. So, but sovereignty is the key feature of the democracy. Because just try to decode about the democracy. Democracy is the power of the citizen. Democracy is the power of the citizen, and this power come by the citizen, and this power generate for the citizen also. Means power generate by the power. Citizen give the power to democracy, and democracy give the power to citizen. That is called to, we can say, interlinking power. We can say power system. That is called to democracy. But citizen, democracy, and sovereignty, and state power, and state legislative body, and parliament has its own legislative body and its own decision making ability. But why we have taken such kinds of the, we can say, democratic feature? Because we wanted to take any decision without any external and internal barrier. But I would like to tell you, here is some micro difference about the state legislative body decision making ability and center parliamentary decision making ability. Means parliament decision making ability and state legislative body decision making ability are completely different. How? State legislative body is the working under of the sovereignty of center. Like state have its own capacity about the state legislative body, but state is working under of the center power. Like central government always work like to the we can federal system. State is working under of the federal system. Means central government elected some we can say some very important like to we can say very important we can say representative like IAS, IPS, IFS. These union public service are elected by the we can say central government, and central government is signed to state government. Just try to know the what is the co-boundation state between and the center. Central government and state government are bounded to each other by the responsibility. Central government have the responsibility to supervision the state government legislative system and legislative body activities and its operational system. Because when central government is sent to we can say governor to state which is elected by the we can say president president in behalf of the central government. Means it is central government is recommended to the any person like governor to send to any state. So that is called to the we can say different of the sovereignty. It means state government and state government legislative assembly power is the sovereignty. It's have own sovereignty, but under of the central government parliamentary system. Why we have taken such kinds of the framework, democratic framework? Because we are not giving we are not giving absolute power up to any state. If our parliamentary system will give the absolute power of the any state legislative assembly, then state legislative assembly will be autocracy. We can say state assembly we can say state assembly will work maybe we can say not behalf of the citizen, maybe across of the citizen. So that can be destroy the sovereignty, that can be destroy the integrity and nationality of the nation. It can be disturb the integrity of the nation. So that we have take such kinds of the sovereignty system. State have its own sovereignty system and parliamentary have its own sovereignty system. But parliamentary sovereignty system and state legislative body sovereignty system and its power and its criteria are different, and these criteria is also supervision by our judiciary system. Because judiciary system is the we can say parental supervision system. Judiciary system is like guardian. Judiciary system like state high court and the supreme court. Supreme court is properly observe this rule and regulation and law and state legislative assembly activities and its operational system. It is working behalf of the citizen, it is working behalf of the state, and it is working behalf of the constitution soul or not. Because importance is that every rule and regulation and every laws and every activity and every direction should not go across of the we can say soul of the constitution. Because constitution is the main body and every democratic institution is working under of the constitutional bodies and constitutional rule and regulation. Because constitutional is the framework which is the directed, which is give the direction to state legislative assembly and center parliamentary assembly. Direction by the Supreme Court, direction by state we can say High Court. So we try to know the what is the sovereignty system and what is the sovereignty criteria and what is the state legislative assembly criteria and what is the center parliamentary criteria. Because it's have own criteria, it's have own area where they can make the rule and regulation, but they can't suppress to each other. When we are talking about the governing system, there are the many kinds of the governing system, like autocracy, democracy, and communism. Different kinds of the, we can say, ruling system. But autocracy is the system where is the, maybe, anarchism, where is the decision is the where is the decision is supreme by taken. We can say supreme decision is taken by someone, and it that decision is not unanimous. Means a decision which is taken by someone, that is not unanimous, and that is not taken by the, we can say, referendum of everyone. That is taken by one person, and that decision is also acceptable to everyone. It should be acceptable. It is not choice of any citizen. It is not depend to choice of any citizen. Means every decision is come through we can say by anarchism. Every decision is come through by any person, that is not we can say, that cannot be welfare of this citizen, that cannot be welfare of the state, because if that decision come by the single person choice, single person decision, and single person choice, and a single person requirement. When we talking about the dictatorship means that is, we can say, single person decision is supreme, and a single person is taking decision for everyone, and a single person is applying the decision for everyone. And a dictatorship is the not unanimous decision, a decision which is taken by any person, king, and maybe ruling person, but that is not may not be applicable for every behalf of the citizen, every behalf of native person. If we had seen example of the Tunisia revolution and Arab Spring, that is come through the dictatorship, because their citizens are not happy with any decision which is taken by the dictator, because dictator always take the decision its own choice. Now we are talking about the South Korea and Misr. We can say like Arab Tunisia. Their ruler and their we can say ruling party are taking the dictatorship decision. That is called to dictatorship. Like to if you are talking about the South Korea and South Korea ruling person is the very dictator, and his decision is also imposed to everyone, and no one can deny to accept that decision. That is called to dictatorship. Dictatorship means a single person decision is acceptable, should be acceptable for everyone, even though that is not to welfare of the citizen, welfare of the living person of that state and country. When you talk about the republic, that means the first person of the citizen, that is elected by the indirectly elected by the citizen. Maybe if you are talking about our country of India, our president president is elected to the MLA and MP through the MLA or MP, but that is elected by indirect process. That is called to, we can say, citizen is also participate by the indirect we can say system. That is called to, we can say, republic system. And in a republic system country, we can say, first citizen of the country is elected by the also indirect election of the indirect process, we can say, by citizen elected, but indirect process. Indirect process means MLA or MP. These person and MLA or MP, these person are, we can say, voter to elect the president. In our democracy, we have the four feature of the democracy. First is the we can say executive body, we can say legislative body, and second is the executive. Third one is the judiciary, and fourth one is the press. Means we can say press, which is the most important key pillar of the democracy. And democracy is made by the four pillar, but every pillar is on importance. like we can say, if you are talking about the executive bodies, we can say, if you are talking about executive body, if you are talking about the judiciary body, if you are talking about the legislative bodies make any rule and regulation, and executive bodies executed that rule and regulation, and judiciary bodies is supervision about the rule and regulation in terms of the welfareness of citizen. Means if any rule and regulation and laws is made by the legislative assembly vidhayika, then that rule and regulation and that laws refer to executive bodies karyapalika, and that executive body, under of the executive body like IAS, IPS officer, IAS officer, and some other worker officer, those are the responsible about their district to properly implement that rule and regulation which is executive, which is made by the execution, which is made by the we can say vidhayika, which is made by the legislative assembly. But if any rule and regulation and any direction and which is input and which is mostly related to citizen is not properly implemented in state and in district, and it is goes the opposite of the welfare of to citizen, then our, we can say, judiciary body is supervision. Judiciary body is properly supervision that rule and regulation, and if it is not working, the judiciary body will be we can say take action, and it will be take action, and that action is related to the welfare of the citizen. But judiciary body is also working direction of the supreme, we can say, constitution, because constitution is the guardian of constitution is the Supreme Court is the guardian of the constitution, and Supreme Court get the power through the constitution. So just try to, we have to try to know the interlinking system of the democracy. Democracy is not only power. Democracy is the power generating system. Means the power generating system means person giving the power for person, and person is the giving power for person. Means person generating, citizen generate power for citizen, and citizen generate power to welfare of the citizen. And we have divided into different kinds of the pillar like executive bodies, parliament, we can say legislative bodies, and like to judiciary bodies, and press. Press is also arising such kinds of the question which is the welfare of the citizen, but press is fourth state of the democracy. Because of that reason, press is always observing the system, any work is going well or not, any work is going wrong, why it is going wrong, in which reference it is going wrong, and who is committed the wrong, and why it committed wrong, and who is responsible. These kinds of the question press is arising. If press is genuinely and honestly working, then press is preserve the soul of the constitution. Press is the preserve the soul of the constitution, because if press arising any question, then our judiciary system will take action to correct the any wrong happens, which is maybe done by the executive bodies, which is done by the legislative bodies. So these are the four pillars of the democracy. We have talked about the democracy and the republic system and communism system. Communism system means these rules run by the group of the we can say ruling system, one party system, maybe one party system, but it is somehow helpful to people, somehow welfare of the people. If you are talking about the USSR, which was disintegrated in 1991, Russia before USSR before 1991 there was the USSR. After 99 there was the different kinds of the countries the begotten, and it's come to in existence. So these are the some example of the we can say communism. I talk about the democracy feature, like to legislative feature. If you are talking about the under of the legislative, there is the MLA, MP, and some minister. And if you are talking about the executive bodies. Executive body means there is the we can say some designation post, maybe ministerial, some IAS, IPS officer. Those are the responsible to apply any rule and regulation. And after that, judiciary bodies, and after that, press. These are the co-related to each other, and these are the their existencing nature, and their working nature. Each overall multiplication of the democracy, each overall name of the democracy. Democracy is not only single words. Democracy means power generating system, distribution of the power system, and serving of the power system, and the welfareness of the welfare system of the citizen. Today we have talked about the democracy and its feature and its component and its working style, working nature, and how it's working for the citizen. So overall we try to know the what is the democracy, its feature, gets autocracy and communism and like this feature. So I think this video is helpful to make us understand. Thank you very much to watch.